I'm not only sorry, I've been through the range of emotions. I'm sorry, I'm frustrated, I'm extremely angry about it.
The misconduct that it uncovered is inexcusable.
Both Barack Obama and Stephen Harper have been forced to acknowledge scandals recently. Today, Harper apologized for his former chief of staff's $90,000 gift to a senator. And last week, Obama responded to serious concerns over the IRS. But how these two leaders publicly tackled these events was markedly different. Tonight, Neil Macdonald gives us his take on accountability and how its definition seemingly changes at the border.
This was Prime Minister Harper's first spoken public response to the latest Senate scandal raging in Ottawa.
I'm not happy, I'm very upset about some conduct we have witnessed.
And that, basically, was it. He went on to praise his own government's accountability,
One of the most accountable and transparent.
taking a shot at Liberal Party ethics in the process. When reporters started yelling questions, they were kicked out of the room.
What did you know?
Harper remained silent and smiling.
Thanks, everyone.
It's inexcusable, and Americans are right to be angry about it, and I am angry about it.
Barack Obama, by contrast, takes a somewhat different approach than Harper. He quickly took questions on the most serious scandal facing him right now, revelations that federal tax collectors deliberately targeted conservative groups during the last election.
The fact of the matter is that the IRS has to operate with absolute integrity.
Obama immediately fired the acting head of the IRS. He imposed several new rules on the agency, and his attorney general told the FBI to investigate the IRS.
The fact is, accountability has an entirely different definition here in the United States. Barack Obama is constantly on camera, constantly taking questions. From the day he took office to the end of last month, he's held 84 news conferences, 38 of them fully fledged, wide open solo affairs. He's also held 110 short question and answer sessions with journalists, and he's granted 700 sit-down interviews. By comparison, Stephen Harper is practically a hermit.
And potentially put in even more danger than they may already be.
Obama's political opponents don't like his answers, but there's no question he answers often and substantively. Here's what he said about the Justice Department's secret seizure of the Associated Press's phone records after a leak about a bomb plot.
I make no apologies, and I don't think the American people would expect me as Commander-in-Chief not to be concerned about information that might compromise their missions or might get them killed. Now, the flip side of it is we also live in a democracy where a free press, free expression, and the open flow of information helps hold me accountable.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Stephen Harper clearly prefers a venue not available in America. Question period. Here was Harper's comment after one of his ministers resigned over fundraising irregularities.
Speaker, Minister Panache has done the right thing under difficult circumstances. This is the best member of Parliament Labrador has ever had.
Hear, hear.
The people of Labrador clearly didn't think so, though. Panache was defeated in a by-election.
Since Vietnam, since Watergate, it is expected of the president to be out there.
Presidential historian James Thurber says Harper's style simply would not wash in America.
There's an expectation in America of a great deal of transparency when it comes to making decisions. And when scandal comes up, they want to know right away, and the media wants to know, and the president knows they have to focus on this or it gets worse.
It gets worse for Harper, too. Today, far from Canadian soil, he finally took two questions from Canadian reporters about the Senate scandal. He blamed his chief of staff.
The source was indeed my Chief of Staff, Nigel Wright. I immediately asked that that information be released publicly.
We asked Harper's press office to characterize how he deals with questions from the press. The answer? The Prime Minister makes announcements all across Canada and takes questions from reporters from coast to coast to coast.
Strangely, one of the most common accusations leveled at Harper by his critics is that he behaves more like a president than a prime minister. Viewed from down here, at least, that's one criticism that's entirely misguided. Neil Macdonald, CBC News, Washington.